What's up, everyone? Evan here. Today we're going to jump in and talk about stimulus package update, and I'm going to do it visually appealing by using this flowchart and all the tweets and all that stuff. You know, I'm gathering all my information from top content creators like Meet Kevin, ClearValue Tax, doing a ton of my own research too. So please like and subscribe. Hit that notifications bell to get more of these quick, visually appealing summaries. All right, let's jump into it. All right, today we're going to talk about the three different stimulus packages that could potentially come our way. One was the one negotiated by Pelosi and Mnuchin regarding the variety of different topics. And the next one would be Trump just pushing something through really quick using the leftover CARES Act money. And the other one is a piecemeal bill. So I'll talk about all three, which one would be the best, and which one I think is coming up. So there has been so much talk between Pelosi, Speaker of the House, and then Mnuchin, who's heading up the Republican side, to negotiate this deal. Recently they had a talk, and this is Trump's tweet as the response of Pelosi not accepting the deal. She is asking for $2.4 trillion bailout, which is not true. It is actually $2.2 trillion. He also brought up the idea that it's just there to bail out cities that are high crime. But the truth is there's only $417 billion proposed for state and local government. So a lot of this isn't true, but let's really dive into what this is about. Trump really wants to not negotiate anymore, so he's pulling Mitch McConnell off the table from further negotiations with Pelosi, and now there's other options on the table. So let's jump into those. Trump just recently tweeted there's going to be about $300 billion left over in the CARES program. So what that actually means is $25 billion for airlines is what he's proposing, and $135 billion for the payroll protection program. Right? Okay, there's a little bit of money left over. What does he recommend? Stimulus checks. So this would be more on the line of an executive order to push this through. And remember, all these tweets have caused a market sway. So Trump's Twitter power is ridiculous. He can sway the market with just a couple tweets, especially that one about pulling stimulus. That was a big one that rocked the market because the market was anticipating that. All right, so let's quickly jump into this HEROES Act that Nancy Pelosi proposed and was completely rejected by Mitch McConnell, the other negotiator on the right, and then what Trump came in and said, this right here, this whole thing is off the table. So initially the Dems wanted $3.4 trillion, went down to $2.2, so they're negotiating down, and this is what they want. They want $600 a week for unemployment. They want a $1,200 stimulus check. Both agree. Remember, with the $600 unemployment, the Republicans wanted $400, so it might end up in the middle, $400 or $500. The Democrats wanted $76 billion for real estate. We're talking about homeowners, renters, and this is money to help people pay mortgages that they couldn't pay for, or renters to help pay for rent that they could pay for due to COVID. So they dropped this by, a little bit. They shaved off $15 billion there. Okay, they really did. The Republicans cut off about $167 billion from their proposed state and local governments. Remember, they really don't like this. Trump said it in the tweet. Testing and tracing, that kind of got sliced about half. But that's what the Republicans are doing to shave this bill down from 2.2 to 1.6, 1.7. Schools, they propose 150 rather than the Democrats at 208. Okay, what do they agree on? PPP, Payroll Protection Program Round 2. That is a forgivable loan for businesses that are directly affected by COVID. EIDL was that $1,000 grant you got for just applying for it if you have a business and you are hurting due to COVID. Both agree on $160 billion for airlines. And then also food aid, health and human services, post office for $15 billion, Main Street loans for big corporate companies to get affordable loans, cannabis safe banking. The Democrats kind of put that one in there, a little bit of an oddball. So you're looking at about a $362 billion difference. So that is the one option that was removed from the table. However, this could be one of Trump's negotiating tactics. This could be brought back up on the table if Pelosi decides to accept at the Republican stated numbers or a slight variation from there. Okay, moving on to that tweet we saw above. They were talking about there's $300 billion left over from the CARES Act, the earlier stimulus package. And Trump could create an executive order to put $230, $230 billion to stimulus checks. Everyone gets their $1,200 plus $500 for a dependent. $45 billion for unemployment checks. That would most likely be that same $300 number for a few more months, or maybe a month, month and a half. And then $25 billion for airline aid, which is nothing compared to the $150 billion that was initially proposed in the package. All right, so let's just fit this into what Trump says. He says he could do this, but also there's talks with Mnuchin. He just recently posted that there are about 10 different issues that the Republicans want to pass in kind of a piecemeal bill, whether executive order or through the House and Senate, to pass individual things to help the American people and the economy in general. And let's just jump into what I propose these other 7 to be. I was looking into Kevin. I added a couple things. Meet Kevin proposed a few of these, but I think he's about on par, but a few could be different. Unemployment pay is obvious. Housing and rental assistance, I think at a much smaller amount than initially proposed in the bill. School assistance, smaller. Tracing, tracking, and treatment. Post office. And small amounts for the state and local government. And liability protections was something they could just throw in there, which is what I found. A 5-year shield against businesses, schools, hospitals from being sued over the coronavirus. Huge in such a litigious country as here. So let's look at Pelosi's reaction or potential reaction to this. Remember, Pelosi is an all-or-nothing lady. She wanted the Foles Heroes Act or nothing. So she was playing hardball that whole time rather than trying to pass these piecemeal, standalone bills. So now she is willing to pass a bill for the airlines because she kind of promised that the airlines would receive some compensation not to furlough or fire all of their staff. So I'm at a bit of an issue. Why are we focusing on the big businesses? No, there's jobs and people need to keep their jobs in the airline industry, but there's a lot of small businesses that are getting crushed. And in other news, Fauci says as many as 400,000 Americans could die from the coronavirus in a recent tweet, and that the vaccine, no, not like Trump says, is going to be ready end of year. Obviously, that's not going to happen, but rather it could be ready next fall or next summer, meaning we've got another year of isolation, containment, masks, and all these precautions, which I'm not stoked about, but that's kind of how it has to go. Anyways, if you like this video and you want more visually appealing videos that break down all the facts from the top creators and the top information and all my research, please like and subscribe to this channel. Hit that notifications bell to get an update once or twice a day, depending on how many videos I pump out. And I look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks, guys.